Bitcoin traded close to a record high. Experts attribute this to, among other things, the positive sentiment that followed the launch of Bitcoin spot ETFs in the US. Business Development Manager at Luno, Tarris Arnold, joins us now to delve deeper into the trends playing out in the crypto space. Thank you so much for your time, Tarris. Now, close to a record high. Is this continuing upward momentum proving to be resilient?
Hi, Zanati. Thanks for having me. At the moment, definitely. I think looking at 2024 as a whole, it's been an incredibly positive year in the crypto and digital asset space, particularly for Bitcoin. We really have seen the Bitcoin price really accelerate. At the moment, we are seeing it chasing down that US dollar high. We still haven't quite hit it, but close to home, we have surpassed the Rand all-time high, which is really, really exciting, trading over a million Rand. In the last 24 hours, I believe you've seen a 7% increase in Bitcoin itself. So we're really excited about the momentum that is really building throughout the year, and we're hoping that we'll continue to see an upwards trend, bearing in mind that there's always going to be some level of correction.
Well, that's interesting that in dollar terms, it's close to a record high, but in Rand terms, it's at an all-time high. What's the difference there?
Yes, I think it's a super important distinction. I think the reality is that the main reason behind the difference in a bizarre Rand all-time high being achieved and the dollar one still not being obtained is the fact of inflation. Against the dollar, the Rand has lost quite a bit of value over the last few years, at least since November 2021. So that kind of accounts for the discrepancy that we're seeing. But I also think it speaks to the value that South Africans in particular do find in Bitcoin. There's a lot of interest and demand coming from African nations, South Africa being one of the leading places for that demand, helping drive up that price.
Of course, there is the Bitcoin halving that we've been talking about that's coming up in April. Could it actually bring all the hype that is expected?
Yeah, so there's always a lot of hype. We've spoken about the halving a couple of times on the show. We do feel like there is still really solid momentum behind it. We're still looking like it will happen in April. And for those that aren't aware, the halving is an event that helps counter inflation in Bitcoin itself by limiting the amount of rewards that are produced by mining. One of the really important parts about why we believe that there's a lot of potential for the price to go up with the halving incoming is, in quite simple terms, it does lessen the supply, and it does seem like demand is only growing. So when we're seeing those types of factors, we do anticipate that the price will go up. But historically, even with the halving always being a pretty positive and impactful event preceding bull runs in the past, you can never be 100% sure with these things, so it's always good to take a measured approach.
Of course, you mentioned earlier on the value that people still do see in Bitcoin, and even in South Africa, one of the reasons why Bitcoin is at an all-time high. Just shed some light on the different uses of cryptocurrencies.
Yes, so cryptocurrency, Bitcoin is always kind of the first one people talk about. It is the most well-known, and it's considered the kind of original first creation of cryptocurrency. But since then, there's now over 10,000 cryptocurrencies, probably closer to about 15,000, all with different use cases and different values of legitimacy. When we look at different cryptocurrencies, particularly Luno, we also really like to analyze the use cases that these things have been built for.
Yeah.
Some have been created to act as a store of value, some type of digital gold. Others are really created to help remove the inefficiencies we do find in traditional financial services and for traditional financial markets. We look at things like stable coins, which are digital currency versions of fiat currencies like the dollar. They're a lot easier to access, cheaper to move around, so there's a lot of demand on that side. Additionally, we see people using digital currencies, digital assets to open up all kinds of new worlds in the gaming space, entertainment. So there's quite an endless possibility of how cryptocurrencies can be leveraged in almost every industry.
Well, even though there are lots of cryptocurrencies, thousands, Luno doesn't list every cryptocurrency. What are the factors that you considered here?
Yes, so Luno is a bit of an outlier in this case that we actually have quite a limited offering compared to some of our larger competitors and other competitors in the market. This is really intentional. We'd like to take a little bit more of a conservative approach to what assets we offer, always trying to make sure that we are keeping the customer in the best space. When we're looking at the coins that we're selecting, we do look at things like use case, as I mentioned, but we're also looking at things like security and legality. We want to make sure that we're not exposing our customers to an asset that may not be allowed in the market they're in. We do take deeper dives into the economics behind the coins, the technology, the teams. We do a lot of due diligence to ensure that we're really offering something that's secure and really provides value to our customers. But saying that, we are working really, really hard at making sure we do increase the access of coins we have so that our customers can find the right coin for their use case.
All right. Well, thank you so much for giving us insights on the latest development on the crypto front and also some of the pillars that make up that market. That was Business Development Manager at Luno, Tarris Arnold.